to you, ladies and gentlemen, and happy Mean Streets of Gadgetzan release. Welcome back to the Traveler's Inn. It's Bulbazak and I again. We're covering the large dump that hit right on Monday. However, we've got a couple of cards that we just gotta chip in before we hit the big dump.
A couple? Did we miss more than one?
There was Sergeant Sally that we had to get to after.
Oh, okay, that we didn't miss.
Yes,
I thought you were going to be. I thought you were going to be harder on me for missing this next card.
Oh no! See, I would make you do it since you missed it, but I'll just go ahead and take it. It's Kabal Lackey. It's a 1-cost 2/1 mage common card. Battle cry. The next secret you play this turn costs 0. Secret Mage Tool, as well as being a decent 1-drop. And that's all I got for Kabal Lackey.
Yeah, I mean, definitely Secret Mage is going to use this, pretty much, but other than that, I mean, I can say it's a decent 1-drop for Mage, but Mage has also been getting a lot of decent 1-drops. They have the best one, they have their must-have 1-drop with Mana Worm right now, and they also have a very good 1-drop with Babbling Book. This is another potential one that they might consider including, but at the same time, they probably don't want to put too many 1-drop minions in their tech. So I mean, it's a good 1-drop card if you are a mage. It's a definite must include if you are a secret mage. And I don't think there's much more to really go into this. So yeah, Kabal Lackey. I'm not sure it's going to be wildly used, but for the decks that do use it, it will be a must-have.
Yeah, I don't see it taking anywhere in Arena either. There's better slots you can use for your commons.
Next up, we have Sergeant Sally, which is a 3-drop 1/1 Death Rattle, 1/1 legendary with the Death Rattle. Deal damage equal to this minion's attack to all enemy minions. If you have the means to buff this up, this is an incredible board nuke. There are combos that you can use to get more value out of this, but definitely Grimy Goons are going to get a lot of value out of this card. And even if you're running a Death Rattle deck, I would not dismiss this card because there are a lot of Death Rattle minions out there in the meta right now that buff up other minions. We have Anubriac Sentinel. We have what's the 1-drop called?
Oh, I know it. I can see it.
Yeah. I believe he's a cultist. But yeah, there's also Zealous Initiate, which can give a random minion +1/+1, and there's also Spawn of the Zoth. So there are other minions that can boost the attack. So you're definitely, if you're running this in a deck, you definitely will have ways to get value out of it. So yeah, I think this is a very good card for the decks that want to run it. Death Rattle decks, especially Grimy Goon decks. So yeah, this is a pretty decent card. I think for some people it's going to fly under the radar, but for the people who use it, it's going to have a lot of utility.
Reno Warlock. Just give it a power overwhelming and just watch it go and nuke board. Is that all you got, Bob?
That's all I got, Eddie.
Alright. So we're going to get into the dump now. We've got, to start us off, Hobart Grapplehammer. He's the warrior legendary of the set. He's a 2-cost 2/2. With his battle cry, give all weapons in your hand and deck +1 attack. I've been chanting it. Weapon warrior meta incoming. If anything, if you can combine him with Bran, giving any weapon in your deck +2, it's a bit terrifying when you think about it. Because it's like, oh hey, look at me have this Gore Howl. It's like a 12 3 right now because of some of the other weapons that I've used to be able to juice this bad boy up. It's just... Gah. Bob?
I'm going to be perfectly honest. When I was looking at cards in the dump, I actually kind of glossed over this one and did not realize he was the Warrior Legendary. That's just going to tell you how underwhelming I actually think this Legendary is compared to all the other Legendaries Warrior has gotten in the past. This one just doesn't even register to me. I can see how if you're playing a weapon-focused deck, how this is actually not too bad. Like, this is actually a decent card, but at the same time, I just have to shrug. I think Warrior has gotten better in the past. I mean, that's not to say, not every Legendary is going to be super uber powerful. I don't want every Legendary to be super duper powerful. But I kind of feel bad that this didn't register to me that it even was the Legendary. So, it's going to be useful for those who are going to want to use it in their decks, for those weapon-focused decks. But other than that, I just think it's underwhelming. Well, next up, we have Naga Corsair. Now, Naga Corsair is a 4-cost, 5/4 pirate with the battle cry, give your weapon +1 attack. It's pretty much a no-duh at this time. Pirates, as a tribe in general, work with your weapon. I've been hoping that we get some more pirates that didn't have to rely on weapons, but it's not going to happen. As far as this goes, Naga Corsair is okay. It gives your weapon +1 attack since you're going to be using weapon a lot. I think the stat line is good. It's essentially it's essentially a typical pirate. So it's a pirate. I can see it being used in some pirate decks. Here's the thing: in standard pirate decks, Pirate Warrior, I see it being used. In wild pirate decks, I think you might have some better cost options. It just depends on what your end goal is.
Yo-ho, I agree. This thing's going to be used when it comes to those pirate warriors, and good chance pirate rogue as well. Especially now that we've also got patches flying around. Just pirates as a general tribe. Go. Something I would like to see, if they could actually get it to work, pirate paladin. It won't work.
You would need more of a reliance on weapons.
Yeah, no.
Warrior has the edge because Warrior gets a lot of weapons. Shaman gets some decent weapons. And Rogue always has a weapon on hand. So.
Oh, yeah. But with Sir Finley Murgleton, I can make other weapons. Alright, look, I'm going to stop myself now because I'm sounding like a derp, which is no different than usual. But anyway, we're moving on to Wrathion. He's a 6-cost, 4/5, taunt, battle cry, draw cards until you draw one that isn't a dragon. So if we're hitting that mid to late, or like mid-game fatigue in the hand, to where it's like, okay, I'm exhausting all my options, I need stuff, bloop, 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 bloop. This thing is going to be great for your dragon paladins, dragon priests, dragon mage. If you're going to play dragon shaman, you can't, not yet. Yeah, dragon shaman's been something that's been popped up. Dragon druid. Wrathion. Well,
I don't think I'm as excited about this card as you seem to be. And my reasoning is this. When I normally see people floating dragon decks or dragon deck lists, there's either one where it's just dragon name only, it has a few core dragon components, but a lot of non-dragon parts. You can see this recently when I was watching Kibler's videos. Kibler now with his Dragon Paladin has the bare minimum dragons to be called a dragon deck. It's really not packing a lot of dragon power. And then there's the other side where you really make it a tribal deck and have a huge focus on dragons. There's not a lot. There sometimes is like a middle ground, Eddie, but normally there isn't. You're either just barely, you call it a dragon deck, but you just have the bare minimum, or it's pretty much all dragon focused. And the ones that aren't dragon cards really synergize with the dragon cards. And I think that this card is only useful if you're in the middle ground. If you have the bare minimum, then you're not going to get a lot of cards from this. You get a little bit of card draw, but it might not be what you're looking for if you need an answer. If you are packing dragons, this guy will burn you to death. You can say, well, he's a 4/5 taunt. For 6 cost, I think there are better options. Especially in a dragon deck, if you really want to taunt this, you have a nice 4 cost taunt, or if you wait one more turn, you have Chill Maw.
Chill Maw's really good.
I think Wrathion is being overhyped. I think in most cases he's either not going to do enough, or he's going to do too much and lose you the game. So I'm not impressed by this card. I think there are much better options if you're building a dragon deck, and I think that Wrathion, if you put him in a deck, is actually taking up a slot for a much better minion.
Also, I deserve to be smited for not mentioning Dragon Warrior in that list of dragon decks. Oh, I'm so bad.
Yes, you are, but nobody cares.
Screw you too.
Oh, I know. I get all the screwing. Next up, we have Public Defender, which is a 2-cost 0/7 warrior minion with taunt. I can't see this being played. And I'm going to tell you why, Eddie.
Go ahead.
The reason why Shield Bearer got played in the 1-cost slot was because, it's a 0/4, but actually people don't expect a lot in the 1-cost slot. And people just people hate Argent Squire for some reason. So if you didn't play Argent Squire, a lot of times you just played Shield Bearer just to buy you time. By the time you get to the 2-cost slot, there's no reason to play a 0x taunt minion just to buy time. There are way better 2-cost taunt minions out there, especially for Warrior. So, I don't know why you would pack this in a deck. You have way better options at this stage of the game.
I can agree with you there. I mean, unless you want it towards that mid to late game where you can just go, hey, look at there, stolen goods, this is the thing I have in my hand. Bleh, beefy taunt minion.
Yeah,
that's about it.
But even then, instead of using stolen goods to beef up this, use stolen goods to beef up, I don't know, a better taunt minion.
Yeah.
So this is just one of those, I look at it and go, I see where you're going with this, Blizzard, but I also think that you're not getting why Shield Bearer worked and why this card will not work. It's kind of like the same way why Shield Bearer worked and Target Dummy didn't work. Because Shield Bearer works like it's one slot. I feel like I'm doing something. It has a decent butt and it buys me time. Shield Bearer, Target Dummy it takes up a card slot. Yes, I can play for free, but this thing's going to get killed easily the next turn. And here's I don't see why you're going to be trying to buy time as Warrior on turn 2. Because if you don't have a much better whip minion, you're just going to armor up anyway, and that's a much better use of your time.
Oh, look at there. Tap. If anything, the only thing I can see the Public Defender to be useful for is, I need to do that quest. Drop.
Well, here's the thing. Even if you're doing the quest, again, there are much better options.
Yes, but if you just want to get it done and get it over with quickly, cheap way to do it.
Yeah.
Moving on to Ancient of Blossoms. It's a 6-cost, 3/8 taunt. You got better creatures for the 6 slot when it comes to taunt. Don't get me wrong, it's got a big butt. And it's got some decent attack. But you got better options out there.
Yeah, it's okay, but really, when we're talking about 6-slot taunts, we're looking at things like Sunwalker. We're looking at things like crap. What is it? It's used a lot.
Is it a 6-cost taunt?
Of course, it's 6-cost taunt. You have your Lord of the Arenas. You have your Sunwalkers. It's just, it's like, yeah, I guess if you're looking just for survivability, maybe. But again, you have better options, and options I think that will actually take you a much further than this card. Just again, if you're playing a taunt deck or any sort of deck, I don't see this being played.
I will throw it out and say that Arena, it's a pretty good card.
Oh yeah, it's a really good card in Arena, just not constructed.
No, not constructed at all.
Anyway, next up, we have Freezing Potion, which is a 0-cost mage spell, freeze an enemy. I could actually see Freeze Mage using this, mainly because it costs 0. It gives them time, it lets them buy time, it allows them, because a lot of times, what I see is Freeze Mage is forced to use their Frostbolt early sometimes, because they want to take care of a threat, and then sometimes they don't have it, and they're going, well, crap, so they have to kind of balance between what they do. This holding back one of these allows them to trigger their end game at any point they want. They don't have to worry about managing resources. They have this for when they need it at the end. I think it will be used.
I can agree with you on it being used. And the ideal of it being a trigger card to be able to use it as the end game, I don't think it'll be used for that, because normally that's what Frostbolt is used for. However, if you want, you can now use your Frostbolts for the board control.
Exactly. Well, like what I was pointing out is,
yeah,
a lot of times that is what Freeze Mage players tend to do anyway, like they feel forced to respond. And so when they really need the Frostbolt, they don't have it. And now they have an option that they can hold in their back pocket, that if they can feel free that if they need to, they can use the Frostbolt because they have a plan B.
Hey, we can also potentially use Shatter now. Because free card, throw at it.
Yeah, but I think where Shatter is going to be kind of filling up space where, since Freeze Mage is very combo heavy, they need that space.
Yeah. I mean, that's no doubt. However, it's an option. So, anything else?
No.
Alright. Going on to Smuggler's Crate. It's a 1-cost Hunter Common. Give a random beast in your hand +2/+2. Beasts and Hunter. They go together like peanut butter and jelly. So, if you're looking to improve your beasts that are in your hand, this is definitely the card for it.
Yeah, it's cheap, so it could be, so the price is kind of right. It just depends on whether this does fit in your deck or not, and depending on the Hunter deck, they're kind of tight already, but this, just because of the price, could find a home, so.
Improve the Sylvanas. Improve the Sylvanas.
Sylvanas is not a beast.
Savannah.
Yes, Savannah.
Savannah.
That is a beast. Next up, we have Hidden Cache, which is a 2-cost Hunter secret, where after your opponent plays a minion, you give a random minion in your hand +2/+2. I can't see this, Eddie. I really can't. I think, because normally Hunter is very much about being aggressive, about kind of having that board control, and that you want their secrets to respond to what your opponent did. So that's why you're going to have Snipe, that's why you have Explosive Trap, that's why you have Freezing Trap, Bear Trap, Snake Trap, and even and even Cat Trick. All of those punishes your opponent, responds to the board, and gives you an advantage. This does not. So I really cannot see this being played.
I agree with you there because, Constructed is that. I mean, unless you're trying to build a grimy goon buff hunter deck, which, why? But, Arena is probably where this will probably see some good play and see some shine because depending on your rare selection, like if you get poop for those selections, Hidden Cache is a good pickup.
Yeah, but that's pretty much if you don't have any other option. So saying it's going to shine in Arena is kind of like is disingenuous at most.
Compared to Constructed is what I'm going with on that one.
But that's still selling it as a I have no other option. So that's still not it's going to shine. That's it may see more play just because people have no choice. That's not the same thing.
Yeah.
And that can be said for many of these other cards.
Agreed. Next up, we've got Genzo the Shark. It's a legendary 4-cost 5/4. Whenever this attacks, both players draw until they have 3 cards. As far as 4 costs go, there's a lot better options out there. I'm just going to state it. Barnes is one of my better legendary options in the 4 slot. Now, can he be used in something like an aggro deck that's attempting to vomit out the hand and give me refills on my stuff? Yeah, sure, but I also got to be able to protect it. So, to me, Genzo's 400 dust.
Well, first of all, I don't dust anything, so. And second of all, I love how he's holding Hearthstone cards. It's awesome. But yeah, I kind of agree with it. Maybe in the early game, this could get a little bit of use, but more often than not, players kind of float above 3 cards most of the time. So you're going to be having to go hyper aggressive, which is going to leave you with not that many options. And again, you're right. If that's the case, you're going to have to find a way to keep him alive, and I'm not sure you're going to be able to. Maybe in some decks he might find a home, but again, I'm looking. You probably have better options. So I don't know. Maybe I think there will be some decks. I think some decks will try using him. But I think in general, most players are not going to use this card at all.
Arena, if it's like one of the last things, like if you get Lorewalker Cho and that Pagel and then him.
I think I would stick with Lorewalker Cho. I think I'd stick with Lorewalker Cho and that Pagel.
That's a low blow.
I mean, I think I probably would. One gives me a 50% chance at card draw, and the other one gets me more spells. I'm good with that. Next up, we have Defoas Cleaner, who's a 6-cost 5/7 with the battle cry, silence the minion with Death Rattle. This is not bad. This has a lot of potential. I can see this being ran. I see this as Blizzard basically playing with silence. They don't want to rely on silence as much, but they're pretty much when they are messing with silence, as they are messing with a lot of these other effects. They're kind of playing with them, and I kind of like it that they're playing with them. I think this is going to be getting a lot of use just because it silences Death Rattle. I mean, for one, you're going to have to imagine a Death Rattle meta, but I think that there are some decent Death Rattles that you don't want to see. So, yeah, I can see this being played. Is it going to be played often? No, but it's an interesting tech choice. I think it's one that a lot of players will consider. So, yeah, this is going to get some play. Not going to be meta-defining, but it will be a tech choice just like any other regular tech choice cards, and we will see this.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Like, especially if we're going to see a heavy death rattle scene when it comes to the meta starting today. It's one of those,
Well, the thing is, I'm not actually expecting a heavy death rattle scene, but I'm comparing what we have now, and I'm thinking, yeah, you're not going to use it because you're like, I'm going against so much death rattle, but it's just like any other tech card you include, like Harrison Jones or Acidic Swamp Ooze or
Big Game Hunter.
You know, you're not expecting them to use it. I'm going to use this all the time. Even like something like Eater of Secrets. Just you have, if you include it in your deck, you have it there just so you might have an answer. It's a tech choice, and I think he has a chance. Now, will he be played by everybody? No. But I think there's going to be some people who will use him depending on when they're building decks and might consider playing him, including him, just so that they have an answer if they see some Death Rattle minions.
Yeah. And if anything, also, I like his stat line for Arena. Really nice, depending on what epics you get in your lineup. However, gonna move right on to Cryomancer. Cryomancer is a 5-cost, 5/5 mage exclusive with the battle cry. Gain +2/+2 if an enemy is frozen. Alright, so we're going with the Oprah route again. You get a 5-cost, 5/5, and everybody's getting a 5-cost, 5/5. And then the line of I was frozen today comes to mind, and just it getting +2/+2 from it. So you can get a 5-cost 7/7.
Eddie.
Yes.
Let it go.
I will. And I'm just gonna, if anything, I'm just gonna let it go to you because I got nothing.
Oh. I'm not sure the typical mage is going to use this. The only mage I could see maybe using it is Freeze Mage. And one of the things I said about Freezing Potion, or basically said about Shatter, is that Freeze Mage actually has its space kind of figured out. So they would be the ones to get the best use out of it, but the question is, will they use it? I don't see them using Shatter or the one we got in Karazhan.
I know which one you're talking about. The Frost, the 2.
Yeah.
It's the 2/4 that whenever you cast a spell, it freezes things.
Yeah. I don't see them really using that. I mean,
I don't see this either.
Possibly, like I said, just maybe because of the stat line that on turn 8 they can like freeze and then play this, or turn 9. Basically, while they're building up their big combo, they can have a threat on the board. But at the same time, it takes up space in their deck, so maybe they will, but I really suspect that they won't.
Definitely.
Next up, we have Greater Arcane Missles, which is a 7-cost mage spell that shoots 3 missiles at random enemies that deal 3 damage each. I actually originally dismissed this card, Eddie. And then I got to thinking about it. And I actually had to go back and check, because I had to make sure that the amount of missiles wasn't written as a number. But it isn't. And plus, I think that they would have heavily playtested this card in particular and made sure it didn't break, so that spell damage minions actually makes it shoot more missiles. But what I'm thinking of, if you're not running spell damage, for a mage card, this is okay. You probably don't want it because of the RNG. But if you run any spell damage worth your salt, this spell is boosted. I mean, let's not imagine like a field full of spell damage. So let's just say you have Malygos. You now have Greater Arcane Missiles for 7 mana. You have 3 missiles that do 8 damage each. That is pretty much going to, if it hits the opponent's face, it's going to hurt. If it hits an enemy, they're dead. Very easily, if you have the minion resources and have spell damage, can boost them up. This thing can do some insane damage, and can easily you're not going to care if it hits an enemy or if it hits the face, because it will more than likely even have 4 damage. Either do significant damage or wipe out the enemy. Which means you could start easily, possibly using this as a board clear. This is a great control spell. Or, if nothing else, you still have direct damage to the face. It's great, and the more you boost this up, the better it becomes. This is a great spell. This is probably the best spell that we have from Mage in this expansion. I almost want to say it's the best Mage card in this expansion, but Inkmaster Solia is really good.
Yeah,
but for me, I think the biggest thing for me that makes me question how often it's going to be played, besides the RNG factor, which I'm not sure many players are going to look past, even though they really need to, is that it costs 7 mana. And I get why it costs 7 mana, but you also have to understand that you have really good mage spells at the 7 mana cost anyway, such as Flame Strike and Fireland, and is it Firelands Portal?
Firelands Portal.
And Firelands Portal already. So this very much becomes a tough sell in the 7 mana slot. But I think for the deck that can run it, this is going to be an amazing must-have card. So yeah, I'm going to call it one of the best mage cards in this expansion. And if it's not the best mage card, it's the best mage spell.
Yeah, I give you that. And if anything, like when it comes to this, if I pull it from my Babbling Book or my Kabbalist Tome, I'm gonna have something in my back pocket to be able to use. In Constructed, it could be in the Highlander deck. So it's like there's that potential slot, but as far as like tempo goes, I don't see it being played there. But you do make good points, and especially the whole Malagos thing. Ooh, seeing it combo with that card, it's like, oh, buddy, you're giving me a frighten.
Yeah, like I said, I agree with you. I don't see it being played in tempo just because tempo normally is not much about boosting the spells so much as they are getting tempo out of the spells, and I don't think I think 3 damage is too little for them, and they're not going to want the RNG factor.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to have, I think it will have a lot of play, like I said, in the Cabal deck, and I'm highly considering making a space for it in my spell damage deck, just because there are so many crazy things I can do with the spell.
Yep. If anything, gonna go ahead and move on to Blastcrystal Potion. It's a 4-cost Warlock card, and the effect is destroy a minion and one of your mana crystals. I like that it's a 4-cost die, depending on when I want to play it and when I want to use it. The losing the mana crystal part is what makes this card for me just go, dang. Because it's like, depending on where it would have to be used. Like, in the 9 to 10 crystal area, no big deal. Because it's just, oh no, I'm at 10 and I lose my 1 crystal. Whatever shall I do? Just get it back next turn. But if we're playing it in more or less the early game, because we have to get rid of an early game threat, or not the early game, but the mid game, that's when things get a little tedious, because then your opponent starts to ramp up a little bit more than you, and it does balance out the potion Cabal grabber. So it's like, you got that, Bulb?
Yeah, I get why you're hesitant on this, because destroying your mana crystal, one of your mana crystals, is the downside that I go about. But then I also have to remind myself that this is Warlock. Hurting themselves is what they do for greater power. And whilst I can't get behind that a lot of the times, I actually can get behind this card. I think if you are a Warlock player that understands these drawbacks, the pros and cons, I think you pack this in. I think you only use this when necessary. Basically, you're not at turn 6 yet. you hold this back because basically this is the card that you need to nuke something really big that you don't have any other answers for, and at that point you're like, I can deal with one less mana crystal because I need to get rid of this thing. So I think this will see play. I think Warlock will definitely play this card.
Alrighty.
Next up, we have Kabal Trafficker, which is a 6-cost, 6/6 Warlock minion that says, at the end of your turn, add a random demon to your hand. So, hey, if you are playing demons, you include 2 of these things. Just include 2 of these things. This will be played. This will be played in demon decks. I don't know if it will be played in anything else other than demons. Maybe it will be played in Kabal Warlock, if that exists. But, definitely, it will be played in demon decks. It's a brilliant card. I like this.
I can definitely see it being played in the Reno Lock deck because of it just going, okay, here's a free demon thing. And depending on, like, it can give you a second Jiraxxus. It could give you Krul. It could give you the 7-cost 6/8. If anything, my biggest wish being that we still had Mal'Ganis in Standard. Because just being able to be given a Mal'Ganis whenever would have been really nice. Now, I say if anything, she's really, really going to do well in Arena. Because just here you go, free creature. Free creature. Here you go. Next up, we have Gadgetzan Socialite. She's a 2-cost, 2/2, Battlecry, restore 2 health. Okay, a cheaper heal. Bob?
I think it depends on why you're playing this card. If you kind of need the body, maybe this could work out because you get 2 health. But if you're more concerned about health, you need health right now, you play a Voodoo Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Because Voodoo Doctor, for one less mana and 1 less health, does the exact same thing. And basically you're playing a Voodoo Doctor because you just need the health right now. You're really not concerned about staying on the board. I can't see her being played early game because how often do you really need that 2 health right now? You want to have her a little bit later on, and then by that point you really don't care. So I think, the 3-cost has Earthen Ring Farseer, which I think is much better, and 1 slot has Voodoo Doctor, which does the same thing. So I think she falls in the cracks, to be honest. And I think there are much better options. So yeah, that's my thing. If you want heals, you're going to be looking at a different minion than Gadgetzan Socialite.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have Krul the Unshackled. He's a 9-cost Warlock legendary that has 7 attack, 9 defense, and is a demon with a battle cry. If your deck has no duplicates, summon all demons from your hand. If you're playing a Kabal demon deck, this is really great because most demons that have bad effects are battle cries, which means that this avoids that altogether, and now you have summoned a bunch of demons on your field with no downsides. Yeah, this is great. I like it. I'm not sure. At the same time, I'm not looking at the other, like, I'm not looking at like the other Kabal legendaries, which I like. I'm like going, I'm making a Kabal deck with this. I'm going, this is cool if you run it. Which if you're running Reno Lock, you probably will. You might make it a little more demon focused than you normally would, but yeah. But other than that, I'm not going, ooh, I like so much I'm going to build a deck around it. It's good. It's a good legendary. But it's just a good legendary if you build a deck tailored to it and are excited about building a deck tailored to it. Other than that, you just nod your head, say it's good, and you just move on.
Again, I just go, Mal'Ganis, why are you not in Standard?
Because then everybody would be whining about demons.
No, because we still have Mid Shaman.
And Priest.
But just... Because Krul the Unshackled and just watching your field just go boom, demons, and then watching them get boosted up a little bit more because of it. Just... I want one for wild demons, for that matter. And that's just as far as I would take it. Like, if I get it, I'll probably keep it. Just so I can put it in wild. And play it in wild. But as far as actual constructed goes, I'm not looking forward to it. Next up, we have Alleycat. It's a 1-cost, 1/1 hunter beast with battle cry. Summon a 1/1 cat. I'm gonna get this out of the way early. Oh my god, he's so adorable!
Here's the good kitty. Here's the good kitty. Don't maul me. Please don't maul me.
Plus, if anything, it does what hunters like to do best. We're getting a sizable board presence, and it's a 1-drop. Why not? You know?
I'm gonna disagree with you on this one.
Of course you are.
Hunters have much better 1-drop options. The biggest 1-drop option they have, Fiery Bat. Fiery Bat, in my opinion, is much better than this is. And if you were looking just at beast synergy, how about Stone Tusk Boar? Yeah, I know it's just 1/1/1 instead of 2/1/1s, but it's a 1/1 with charge and beast synergy. You play at the right time, it has more than one attack. You're going, but it summons another 1/1 cat beast, Bulba. But yeah, those are very easily dealt with, and no one cares. The reason why Kylie Grandmother is so much of a threat is because when it's like a 1/1 that when it dies, it has a bigger thing behind it. When other Death Rattle minions summon more 1/1s, it's because there's quite a few of them, and it's later on in the game, and that means it's sticky. This isn't sticky, and no one cares.
If anything, don't forget that Fiery Bat is also going to be rotating out.
Yeah, but when Fiery Bat rotates out, this rotates out.
Wait. I thought
Fiery
Bat
Bat
was...
came out in Whispers of the Old Gods. There's no reason.
I'm dumb.
Yeah, there's no reason. Fiery Bat is infinitely better, and they'll both be rotating out of standard at the same time.
I'm drunk. Leave me be.
Never. So, yeah, there may be some people who mess with this, but I think a lot of Hunter players are going to realize that they have a better 1-drop already. In fact, they probably have a couple better 1-drops already. And, I mean, maybe if they want to want to switch this out for, switch out, like, Argent Squire. Is it Argent Squire?
With the
Divine
drop
Shield?
1, give it 2 attack?
No, it's Divine Shield.
Yeah, you're right with the Argent Squire. Pardon.
I probably got it wrong for the Taunt Creature minion earlier. But yeah, even if it does see play after release, I don't think it's going to stick around. I think Hunters are going to really focus on their fiery bats. And I don't think it's going to have a lasting impression on the meta. I can't see it. Next up, we have Sleep with the Fishes. Now, Sleep with the Fishes is a 2-cost warrior spell that deals 3 damage to all damaged minions. I know I've been talking, I've been complaining about warrior not having AoE that didn't hurt yourself. This is kind of a start, but chances are your minions are hurt too. It still hurts you. I might try actually packing a copy, but I don't think this was really what I was looking or asking for, Eddie. Because chances are your own minions are going to be damaged, and this is more likely just going to be a complete field wipe. I wish it wasn't the case. I wish it was just the opponents, but in order for your opponent's minions to be damaged, you probably damaged your own minions. So, yeah, this doesn't fit into this is not the AoE spell I was looking for. It's the start, maybe, but this is not it.
Now, it depends on what the board state looks like, too, all things considered. Because, really, I'm going to take a look at this, and I'm going to think that, depending on how things shake up, Whirlwind and Sleep with the Fishes, a 3-cost Flame Strike, not terrible.
It's not a Flame Strike. It Flame Strikes both boards.
That's why when I stated as depending on the board state and depending on how things shape up, it being that. Because, like, there are times to where on Warriors and they're going, well, crap, I need to wipe his board. I got nothing on my side to be able to fix that, so blip, blip, do this, gone. But there's also Brawl at 5 that you can use to do that. So it's... I'm on your side on this, but I'm also sitting here going,
Yeah. Well, that's why I said I think it's a start, but it's still not what I've been looking for.
Yeah.
And that's why I might pack one of it to start off with, see how I feel. If I like it, I keep it. If not, well, then whatever.
Yeah. Gonna scoot my way on over to Celestial Dreamer. It's a 3-cost, 3/3 Druid card with the battle cry, if a friendly minion has a 5 or more attack, gain +2/+2. While Druid has the capabilities of having a creature of 5 or more attack, not gonna play Celestial Dreamer. I'm really not. So, bulb.
Yeah, meh. I don't think it's going to be seeing much play either. Because, I mean, a 3-cost 5/5 is really good in the early stages, but you're looking for a friendly minion with 5 or more attack. I really don't think that's happening turn 3 or even turn 4. And if you're ramping or anything for anything big like that, then why do you even want Celestial Dreamer? So, it's interesting. I don't think it's going to be played.
Yeah, no.
Okay, up next we have Unlicensed Apothecary. Now, Unlicensed Apothecary is a 3-cost 5/5 warlock minion. That's a demon with the effect whenever you summon a minion, deal 5 damage to your hero and just kill this with fire. Just no one is going to play this. I'm just going to say it at this point, Eddie. The downside, Warlock, I know Warlock is all about punishing itself, but the downside here is just too great. Because Warlock is also about spamming things on your board. Do you really want to play Warlock, aka, I will hurt myself, but I spam things on the board, with this? This is the anti-Warlock card. In Warlock.
No, what it really is the meme that I've been using. Everybody's getting the 5/5. It's just, here's your X cost for it now. Yeah, no, there's no way in hell I'm using this.
There's no way. This is going to kill you. This is going to kill you every single time. There's just no way.
Yeah, pray to the gods you never have this card potentially pop out on you. Because if anything, I'm not gonna, I probably won't touch it because it prevents you from summoning things. Sure, I'll probably get hit in the face a little bit, but the thing sucks.
It's like, oh crap! It's appeared on my field. Soulfire.
Ooh, if anything, this makes Faceless Summoner a bit more of a drawback now whenever you go to play it. Or pick it in arena. Ew. Just ew.
Although, yeah, it's like,
Yeah. I'm just gonna scoot on to Crystalweaver.
Yeah,
It's 4 cost. It's a 4 cost 5/4 Warlock card with the battle cry, give your demons +1/+1. I'm gonna have to agree with some of the people on reading this and just go, where? Are we saying on the field? Are we going in the hand? Are we going in the deck? Like, as someone who, like, I can definitively assume it would be the field.
Here's the thing.
I want clarity.
Here's the thing. Those people are just anal whatevers. When it doesn't specify hand or deck, it always means on the field. Always.
Yeah.
That's how the game is programmed. And
It's
how it's always been. They're just being too anal. And I get it. They're being anal because of this set. But but Warlock is not part of the Grand Lagoon. So, really, guys, come on.
Yay, demon buffs, though.
Yeah, I would say this is a must-include in Demon decks. You include these things. They're great. I mean, it's decent stat-wise. It buffs the demons, which you kind of want because they're powerful anyway. They hurt you, but they're powerful anyway. Yeah, this is good. I'll take more of this. Next up, we have Lotus Illusionist, which is a 4-cost 3/5 Shaman minion that after this minion attacks a hero, you transform it into a random 6-cost minion. I kind of like this. It's a neat effect. I'm not sure. I'm sure it will be used, but I don't know. I kind of like it, and but at the same time I'm going, yeah. I think people will experiment with this. I think it may find a home. I don't want to write this card off because I also have a feeling that if I write this card off, it will have a significant impact on the meta. I don't want to do that. I really want to wait and see because there are a lot of really cool things about this card. So yeah, this is kind of interesting for me. I kind of like this. I want to see what happens. I kind of want to get it because then I can build a deck out of it, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's kind of cool. I like it.
If anything, I'm more or less seeing it going into Evolve Shaman. Also, as another thing, have fun potentially getting the big-time Racketeer out of it.
I was actually thinking that.
I'm glad you at least didn't discount yourself on that.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I really can see people using this and this actually starting to shape the meta. But I don't want to call that it will shape the meta because then no one will use it. So I kind of just want to see. I think people will play it. I really do. I don't want to discount it. I don't want to say for sure it'll be meta defining. But at the same time, I'm going, come on, guys. We know people are going to play this. We know they will.
I think people experiment more than anything.
I don't think it'll make it into mid-range tier 1 shaman. But if you're not playing mid-range shaman, I could see people playing this. I could see maybe it finding a following, and I can see it potentially carving out a place in the meta.
It'll be more. I'm gonna be the one to say no to that. I will say it's more of a fun card more than a actual legit. I'm seeing this thing on ladder.
Yeah, but then again, people said the same thing about like Yoxerone or some other stuff, and look at that. So I don't want to discount it. I think part of me even thinks so. We'll see which is more likely.
Yeah, I'll be the party pooper here on this one. Next up, we've got Finders Keepers. Not the TV show, which was a great TV show, mind you. But it's a warlock. No, it's shaman spell. Discover a card with Overload 1. I can say this right now. I'm not playing this on turn 1. If I'm playing this at all, I'm going to be playing it more towards the mid to late game. And I'm going to be looking for something that is definitely going to give me an answer that'll help. Whether it be something to end the game, or clear the board, or protect my board. That's what I'm looking at as far as Finders Keepers goes.
I kind of like it because Blizzard's kind of given a card like this has been giving it to several classes. They started with Rogue with Journey Below, and then Warrior is getting I Know a Guy in the set, and Fighters Keeper is essentially the same thing. Yeah, the difference is that it has an Overload 1, so potentially you could use it to get this card again. But I can see Shamans running this card easily. It gives you answers, and Shaman kind of, if you need answers, Shaman can start looking for them. Which most of the time I don't think Shaman needs to, but if they really need to, if they really want to, yeah, I can see them play this card. Okay, so we will kind of tie everything up in one more video, and then we'll also give our thoughts on the rest on the expansion as a whole. So yes. Tune in next time, guys, and we hope to see you again.